So as a teacher in the classroom, how emotionally intelligent are you to be able to understand this, to improve upon your students' or your learners' academic performance, or to improve upon your own relationship with your colleagues or your boss? So this is our journey. Let's take some practical steps, then we wrap up the session. One of the practical steps is your relationship with the learners. You should build relationship with students in a positive way in the classroom environment. How do you respond when you get to school and your students greet you? Good morning, sir. Good morning, madam. And you just walk away or just look at them. Or they say, good morning, sir. Then you just say, morning. Then you walk away. How do you feel? Do you think that is creating a good relationship with your learners? Compare that to a teacher that gets to school. Then your students greet you. Oh, good morning, sir. They say, good morning. How are you? You care about your student. And it is in this caring that you develop this positive relationship. It means you respect them. You value them as learners. So these learners have trust in you because they say, oh, this teacher, anytime I say good afternoon, good morning, they ask me how I am doing. Is there any difficulty? So they really say, oh, this teacher values me. And this builds a good relationship with your learner. So this is a very practical step for you to, as a teacher, as a facilitator, even as a head teacher in your school, how well do you relate with your teachers? So becoming an emotional intelligent teacher, you should be conscious about your relationship with your learners. Is it something that your learners value or not? You enter the classroom. Before you start teaching, you greet them. Oh, how are you, my students? How was, if you are at the SHS level, how was your prep? Are there some challenges you are facing? Just 5 minutes, or if, in fact, less than 5, let's say a minute to 2 doing this shows a gesture to the learners that, oh, I feel recognized as a student in this school. I feel valued as a learner in this school. So I will trust my teachers, relate well with them, and so that they also teach me to become a very good student. So this is a step. We build our, or this is a step for us to become an emotionally intelligent teacher. Then two, planning the emotional environment. Look, the atmosphere in the classroom can either inspire learning or create tension. Okay, your emotions, the emotions that you send your to the classroom, if you are not aware of it, it will create tension or either inspire learning. So it's two ways. So as a teacher, as a facilitator, you should be able to create a very positive, emotionally friendly environment before teaching begins. Always welcome your learners to feel safe to participate. That's why before I begin this webinar, I try to engage you to share with us a very proud moment of yours as a teacher. All I'm trying to do is that I'm trying to create the space so that we are all able to interact and discuss well to improve upon our professional life. So I expect, or an emotional intelligence, as an emotional intelligence, when you go to the classroom, you should do same. There are some basic things. You can just go in the evening before you start your lesson, you bring in a short icebreaker. or you share a story so that students can laugh, or you can even ask your students, your learners, to share some stories. And this brings a relaxation environment in the classroom. And that is how we plan an emotionally friendly environment to inspire learning. But if you enter with anger, with frustration, with stress, you are creating tension. Then at the end, you say your students are not learning. But let's look at the emotional environment. Number three, planning for the physical experience. How comfortable are your learners in the classroom? Even if the resources are limited, how do you make your classroom physically welcoming? And this is something I want us to practice. At times when we go to the classroom, and let us try and rearrange the class. And let's rearrange the seating so that everyone will be able to look at you. Instead of at times the regular sitting, instead of sitting in front, let's have maybe some. In fact, we change the arrangement. Okay, or let's make it a group like study. So as an emotional intelligence teacher, one of the key ways you can practice this is practicing this differentiated learning. How do we plan? Are we even usually intentional about planning our environment, our physical space? We should be intentional about this. Then another practical step that we can use to become an emotional intelligence is your ability to manage your learners' expectation. You set expectations so that your learners in the classroom know what they are supposed to do, and you as a teacher, what you are also supposed to do. So before the lesson begins, in fact, you set the rules, the aim, the purpose of the study, what at the end they are supposed to achieve, what you are supposed to do as a teacher, what they are supposed to do as learners. You tell them they should be respectful, they should be responsible, be honest, be polite. Then as a teacher, what am I supposed to do? I'm supposed to do A, B, C. I'm managing my learners' expectation. So that at the end of the day, they'll be able to achieve something, and that builds trust and reduces anxiety. That helps them to understand the rules in the classroom and the learning objectives. And for this learning objective is key. Let your students know what they are supposed to achieve at the end of the lesson. Manage your learners' expectation very well. Then acknowledging individuals. Our students are such that everyone wants to be seen in the classroom. In fact, most of them want to be seen and appreciated. So it is your duty as an emotionally intelligent teacher to recognize every effort, no matter how small it is. No matter how small it is. And as a teacher, try to celebrate progress rather than always focusing on mistakes. Just a simple motivation, just a simple message. Oh, during this lesson, Kwame, your handwriting has improved so much. I like it. Just a simple message like that will boost the morale of Kwame in the classroom. Just because Kwame has felt that, oh, I am appreciated. My teacher has appreciated my handwriting. What do you think Kwame will do? Kwame will keep on improving upon his handwriting. I will say, okay, if I'm appreciated just for handwriting, let me improve, maybe passing my English exam as well. You are acknowledging as an emotionally intelligent teacher. Then one of the key things, listening to learners. And this is one of the powerful emotional skills any teacher can develop. Listen to your learners. Practice active listening. Try to understand your learners. Let them tell you their academic challenges and listen to it. Don't only focus on just the good ones and move away. Oh, I'm having this challenge. This thing is confusing me. Take your time and ask the student, what particular aspect of this topic is confusing? You listen to them, they bring out. Then by the time they are done talking, you have identified that gap and respond to it in a very nice way. Listening is key in developing to become an emotionally intelligent. Or in the classroom, you realize that a student just keeps interacting. Okay, always talking in the classroom. At times, instead of rather embarrassing that student publicly. Imagine you call that student to the staff community or somewhere and ask, oh, my student, why are you always distracting discussion? Or I've noticed that whenever there is a discussion in class, you are always loud, you are always shouting the answer, you don't raise your hand before responding, you just shout the answer like that. Then you call the student, then let's tell the student, oh, okay, next time, can you wait patiently for me to call you before you respond? Now, when that student leave you, the student is going to reflect. Now, oh, so this teacher have recognized me. This teacher have listening to me. I'm going to change. That is how we modify a behavior. Listening is key in modifying a behavior in a classroom. Then as a teacher, you should have the ability to read and respond to feelings or emotions in the classroom. Always know the energy level in the classroom and respond to it. Understand the tone of the classroom. How are students feeling after break or right after lunch? You are coming in with a very cognitive draining activity. And you look at the mood of the student in the classroom. You should be able to read it quickly and say, this cognitive draining activity I'm having, I'm bringing to the classroom. Would it be possible? Can I achieve the purpose at the end? If you cannot, you quickly adjust. What then do I do? Emotional intelligent teacher, you read and respond to the emotions in the classroom. Then as an emotional intelligent teacher, how do you respond to comment and question? Mind you, the comment, your comment to questions can either build or break confidence. Let me still use my boss. My boss at times, when I follow him, is teaching at the university. When the student gives an answer at some particular point in time, he will calmly say, oh, thank you for this answer. But in this particular discussion that you're having, your answer doesn't fit the question. So let us listen to another person and see if that person's answer will fit what is on ground right now. You are responding positively. You are building the confidence. But if you shut the student up, next time, even if the student is correct, he or she will never raise their hand up. Even when your student disagree with you in the classroom or they challenge you, how do you respond? How do you respond? Or a student just get up and trigger you in the classroom. Or a student get up and boldly say, I think your answer is wrong. You should be, you should manage your emotions to respond well. Don't tell the student if it's wrong, I can't solve it. No. rather you respond as an emotional intelligence teacher. That's a great observation. Let us check the answer all together again. You see, so this encourages your student because of the way you respond to their comments in the classroom, because of the way you respond to their disagreements in the classroom. And doing that, you are improving upon their critical thinking skills so that they will think critically and analyze whatever you have given them, whatever information, they will analyze it. Because they know that even when they question your answers, you gladly welcome it, put it together, and then at the end, you solve the issue. You all understand. An emotional intelligent teacher, you should recognize the prejudices and preference, your unconscious bias. It affects fairness. Always calling upon ladies in the classroom, ignoring the gentle men in the classroom. You should know how you recognize this and handle it in the classroom. Your non-verbal communication, which is very key. Your non-verbal communication. Mind you, your body language, your facial expression, even the tone of your voice communicates more than what you are saying. And students are good in that. They can read right now. They can read into it right now. They are very good in that. Even the way you dress. Even the way you dress in the classroom. They are all sending non-verbal clues to your student to interpret your emotions, how you are feeling. Imagine as a teacher, you come to school without ironing your dress. They look at you some way. You come and you find your face in the classroom. You are sending a clue to them that all is not well. And that is because you as a teacher, you are unaware of your emotions. That's why you are communicating it to them non-verbally. You are not even aware of it. But as emotional intelligence, one of the key things you can do to develop as an emotional intelligent teacher, you should be aware of your non-verbal communication. Your body language in the classroom, you should be aware of it. Take a conscious look at it. Be intentional about the way you dress. Be intentional about your facial expression, how you communicate in the classroom. You should be intentional about it. And this will encourage learning instead of creating fear. You should always also be able to manage your frustration in the classroom as an emotional intelligent teacher. And I am saying that it is normal to be upset. Okay, it is normal to be angry. It is normal to be stressed. It is normal to be frustrated. But how do you handle it? Emotional intelligence. And this shows your maturity as a teacher. You handle your feelings well. When there is a shock, instead of reacting just with your heart, you draw on the reality, you go back to your ego. Oh, let's take our time and look at this reality so that I will respond. Instead of just reacting, I'm able to manage or to handle my feelings. And this is very critical in developing as an emotional intelligence teacher. You should be able to manage your emotions in the classroom. Then, last but not the least, developing self-awareness as a teacher. And if you listen to me from the beginning to the end, you realize that I kept on mentioning, if you don't know the emotions, if you are not able to label the emotions, if you don't, how do you manage or regulate them? So you should develop your awareness skills. After every class, go back, reflect on your feelings. What made you happy? What made you frustrated? What are you proud of after the lesson? This will help you to improve emotionally and professionally. You can have a small journal to be, maybe after this, you can just list some of the emotions you think you have expressed. You see, if you are aware of this, it helps you to understand how these emotions are influencing your learners in the classroom. So let us take a conscious effort, okay, and master this self-awareness as a teacher. Let me know my weakness and my challenges. Now, when I know my weaknesses, how do I handle it? Self-awareness is key in developing to become an emotionally intelligent teacher. Then the last one, which is key, and I'm happy we are here to learn this again, is continuing your development. This is not just a one-time lesson that you just take, then voila, you become an emotional intelligence. No, it's a continuous process. And I say, becoming emotionally intelligent as a teacher is a journey. It's not just a one-time achievement something. It's not just that after this webinar, automatically you become an emotionally intelligent teacher. It is a journey, day in, day out. Today, you work on your awareness level. Tomorrow, you work on your self-regulation. You work on your empathy level, your social skills. Then day in, day out, you reflect. You seek feedback. You keep learning from your peers. Then if you're able to develop yourself, this goes beyond even your classroom practices. You send it home. How well do you relate with your people? Do you relate with your community? As a teacher, transfer to a village somewhere. How do you relate with the community members? And this is very key. Your relationship with them will tell you if you'll be able to survive in that community or not. Mind you, the school is part of the community. And you are not only there as a teacher for the school, but you are supposed to work for the community as well. Because whatever you are imparting in the classroom is reflecting in the community. So you should always make intentional effort. Continue to develop yourself to become an emotionally intelligent teacher. Before I end the presentation, let me leave you with this. This is a quote from Newton. This is in the book titled Peter and the Child. And he says, I have come to a frightening conclusion. I am the decisive element in the classroom. It is my personal approach that creates the climate. It is my daily mood that makes the weather. As a teacher, I possess tremendous power to make a child's life miserable or joyous. I can be a tool of thought and an instrument of inspiration. I can humiliate or humor, hurt or heal. But in all situations, it is my response that decides whether a crisis will be escalated or de-escalated, and a child humanized or dehumanized. Again, in all situations, it is my response. Mind you, I said as a emotional intelligent teacher, you should respond rather than reacting. So it is your response that will decide whether a crisis will be escalated or de-escalated. And the child, your learner, humanize or dehumanize. Thank you very much for your attention. Mr. Kujoji. Okay, so it's now time for questions and answer session. I don't know if Mr. Kujoji is...
Sorry, my internet became unstable. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Emmanuel Afeti. So we'll take questions. If you have any question, you can raise your hand. You'll be called, or you type in the chat. So we begin with Gabriel Gansa. Please, you can unmute.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. Please proceed.
All right, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. Actually, this is my first time joining the... All right, so I'm a teacher myself, but please, my question is, realize the case students of nowadays, right? For some time now, my class or the class I visit, yes, it's nice if you encourage them, but you have some individuals in the class that do learn under pressure. So sometimes, unless they know that they have exams to write, they have tests to write, they have some mentals or drills to do, that is where you see them learning. Mine is, how do we, or what do I do about this so that it will remove that mindset or perception they have about learning when it comes to this kind of mental quizzes, but always do stick to their books. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Please, would you want to take the answers now, or let's take more questions?
Any is fine.
Oh no, I'm referring to Mr. Petty.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so right. I think let me take it as we. I will be answering as and when the questions comes in. Yeah. So okay. Realize the student or your learner don't learn under pressure, or you say what? Is it they learn under pressure or they don't learn under pressure?
They learn under pressure, so they wait until there's a peace before they learn.
Okay, so let's look at it. So as a teacher or as an instructor or the facilitator in the classroom, when did you realize this? At what point in time of the learners did you realize this? And the time you realize this is very key. Now, if I were to be in your shoes, what I'm going to do, if I realize you always wait for exams to come, then you are always going to write assignments, always. You are always going to write proper quizzes, always in the classroom. So that I try and put you on your toe a little to give you that motivation. Aside that, what happens to the active listening? Oh, I invite these students and have a chat with them. Why don't you like studying, rather than waiting till last minute before you start cramming things? When you are doing this, you tell them the potential outcome of such behaviors. You tell them the reality. This is what you are likely to face when you do that. One, you are likely to perform poorly. Two, you'll be under stress because you are unable to manage your time well to study. So you are having a conversation with them. You're having an engagement with them. Then from there, you build a guideline with them. Okay, at this time, we are coming to practice this together. We are coming to study at this time. When we are done with school, this is what we are coming to do. When you get home, this is what you should do. When they come back, you should make a conscious effort and ask them, were you able to do this? Were you able to do that? Through that, the learners realize that, oh, this teacher cared about me. Let me not disappoint the teacher. Let me put up what he or she is telling me. Then with that, we are making impact gradually. Mind you, this is a behavior, so we should be careful how we handle it and how we modify it. And when they are making improvements, don't forget, as an emotional intelligence teacher, know how to respond, know how to reinforce that behavior for them to keep it up. I hope I've answered you.
I believe so. Just a quick addition. I think sometimes the challenge with us as teachers is that we assume there is one way of learning, and that is the way that we believe is the best. But you must understand that there are some learners that would only do well if they cram. And so if you dismiss that way of learning outright, and you expect that they would do the chunking or use the interval-based learning, chances are that they may fail because they will need to take time to get used to not cramming or waiting until revision time. And so while you are guiding them or encouraging them or teaching them to use the interval-based, spacing out their learning, starting to learn early and all that, let's also remember that that last minute learning or the cramming method is something that works for some of the students. And as somebody who is a good facilitator, you need to understand who your learner is so that you can shape their learning around what works best for them. I think that's something I want to just add. So we have, let's take Daniel Enum. Please, you can unmute.
Thank you. Oh, thank you. Please, do you hear me?
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
Okay. I'm not a teacher, but once a student sitting before some teachers, I want to ask this question. And first, I would like to thank you for the topic, developing this emotional intelligence. But my problem area is that you spoke very well by defining the emotional intelligence as according to Goldman. And you did also very well about what we need or the traits we need to have to develop. And one of them, you were mentioning self-awareness and the ability to control your emotion and then share that our emotion with others. And that is very good for us. But my problem is that when the teacher comes in and they are provoked, but they have to control, where do we put the interface between repressing their uh, emotion as against managing their emotion? I want to understand that interface. Repressing their emotion as against managing their emotion. Because as students, we usually say that when the wife or the husband provoke their teacher at home, they come to the classroom and the students we are in trouble. So how do we manage that? The repression versus developing the EI. Thank you. I hope my question is clear.
Yes, yes. Thank you very much for the question. As an emotionally intelligent teacher, let's assume how will you feel as a student if your emotions are usually repress. You see, all those on one of the key things I talk about, which is reading and responding to feelings. Reading and responding to feelings. Your mood, the mood in the classroom. The mood in the classroom. How your learners are feeling at a particular time would tell you if or will prompt you what response you should give. And I mentioned during my presentation, okay, you've entered into the classroom and realize that no, there is tension in the classroom. As a teacher, as an emotional intelligence teacher, will you continue to repress that tension and keep on say this is what we are coming to do, so let's do it, otherwise you will not be able to finish the topics for the semester? Let's look at the long-term goal. If you repress emotion in the classroom too much, empirical evidence says that tension creates an emotionally unstable environment in the classroom, and it negatively impacts our students' outcome. So to me, I'll tell you, if we identify the mood of our learners and we see that what we want to achieve might not be possible, can we readjust? Or instead of looking at the entire study at that particular period, can we pause at a particular point in time instead of just focusing on finishing and repressing the emotion of the student? To me, I am a school of thought that don't agree with repressing always with the emotions of our students. Let's try to understand them. Let us make them feel comfortable in the classroom. Okay, and even if you are an emotional intelligent teacher, you should be able to teach them as well as students to become an emotional intelligent student, how they should be able to regulate their emotions as students in the classroom. So this is how you help them to create the holistic individual rather than suppressing them just to focus on book. I mentioned earlier that now education is about holistic development. And what happens to holistic development if you're always suppressing the emotions? I think Freud will tell you that most of the emotions, such as, especially if you're at the early grade, if you continue suppressing them, they will come and live it. They will come and live it in the near future. That's what Sigmund Freud believes in. That these things that we repress, we live them. So we should be careful how we regulate it. And it all depends on our ability to read and respond well with to the classroom environment. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Please, my internet got off and I lost the chat. So please look through the chat and see if there are some questions you want to answer from there.
Okay, let me see.
Before we return to the HUD. Okay, I see Doc San. Doc, please, you can unmute. Hello,
All
Doc.
right. Yeah, thank you. So I can read the chat. I want to help so that it doesn't get a struggle. So from where we go to, there's a question: how do you handle a colleague teacher who was very close, but for some time now decided to distance herself from you and giving you cold treatment. Okay, so one thing you must know is that when there's a relationship, both of you seek betterment. So once a person decides to withdraw, then there is emotional pain. Something has happened that the person doesn't feel comfortable. So you need to approach the person with assertiveness, asking the person what has happened without causing further pain. So that is what, like he said, when you are managing your emotions, you must also acknowledge the emotions of the other people. So approach them and find out. And this must also be applicable in the classroom. Okay, so that is for that. Then the next one says, I think that sometimes we can't always listen as teachers. Taking the number of students we have, you realize that you're gonna be tired should you give ears to everyone. So what I tell them is that whatever you are going to say should be relevant. Well, that's your way of doing it. But the fact is that it's not every student that would even know if what they are going to say is relevant. That is why we apply certain teaching modality like group work. So that student can share his or her view during group studies, and then they can be heard. There are instances where you do station rotation, where some students will be in group work, then you'll be teaching other people, others will go out and do research. When you are able to apply some of these methods as emotionally intelligent teacher, knowing your teaching method towards what Ima said, once you are intelligent, you also must know your content, you must know your teaching method. We all know that pedagogy is a science and an art, and so you can't ignore any of them. So don't let us think that the student must say something that is relevant. They themselves, they don't even know what is relevant. That's why they come. So you may learn this to help. The next person said, please, how do you manage a learner who doesn't talk or play with her friends? Yeah, so you must also know that the learners come with different personalities. And it's not all personalities that would want to talk. But again, as Ima kept on saying, find out what is happening. Always ask why. Whether in the classroom, in your relationship with your children, whenever you see a change in a person's emotions or a person's relationship towards you, the first thing you need to exhibit as an emotionally intelligent person is to find a nice way to ask why. Oh, these days I've observed you are quiet. What has happened? Is there any way I can help? Is there anything I can do? Some will give you reasons. Some will say, I'm okay. Some will even tell that, shall I go and do your homework? Whatever reason they give you, it's a reason, and you may be able to work with. Now, another person is asking, what is emotional intelligence? I think Ima explained it. So when we give the slides, you can go back and then look at it. Then this person says, I'm a crèche teacher. What should I do if the kids are not responding to me when I am teaching? Yes, children have short span for listening. If you always want to tell them to listen, a time will come they can't listen. That's why you need to engage them in a lot of play, a lot of group discussion. They like talking than listening. So manage them, give them more activities. Even class management. When students are told, keep quiet, sometimes they will even listen. Emotionally intelligent teacher, you must know how to vary your voice. You must know how to use silence to catch students' attention. Instead of shouting, keep quiet, just a variation in your speech. can make a change. That's why when I was saying it, I intentionally lowered my voice. And when you do that, you realize that you get their attention. All right. So, yeah, then the next question says, thank you for organizing this session. I want to ask a question. I have this learner in my class who sometimes doesn't want to do anything in the class, will not write, answer question, do exercise, nothing. But that this child has a problem, that this child has a problem with writing, oh, writing or something. She just doesn't want to do anything. Now, suggest that the parents take the child to the hospital for them to run some tests to find out the cognition level. At times, some of them have issue with their brain. You see, during birth and during play and other things, some may have some biological reasons for not doing this. So if you don't rule out the biological reasons, you may be beating them, insulting them, but they may have reasons. Some may go through psychological reasons. For you know, there are issues at home. Parents are quarreling and all that. It's disturbed the emotions of the children. So we need to find out. That's why we need to engage parents. You need to know your students and know their parents. And if possible, know the parents' contact. I don't know if GES allow that, but if not, I mean, engage the head so that the parents can be called and further investigation could be done. Then, what is the relationship between a teacher's temperament and emotional intelligence? Of course, your temperament, or what you call your personality, plays on your emotional intelligence. But you need to work out. There are advantages and disadvantages. Each personality has its own direct or indirect impact on your emotional intelligence. But whoever you are, your ability to follow what we have learned today will help you to be an emotionally intelligent person. All right. So, for instance, if you take individuals that are realistic, naturally they don't like talking. So when you go to them, you talk, you complain. One day they may shout at you, "Stop talking! You are disturbing me." But if you go to meet people who are social people who themselves, they can talk and talk and even talk while they are sleeping. When you engage them in talking, that wouldn't disturb them at all. It's 9 o'clock. I don't know, moderator, if I can go on. Okay, so the next question is, please, how best can emotional intelligence be practiced in a class of about 70 learners? Yeah, so that's why I explained earlier that you can use, group work, station rotation, and all that to engage them. All right. Then it's one someone said, I think the word suppressing is giving wrong connotation, rather positively controlling the reaction. Because after all, we are teachers and our duty is to train them. The impression is being made as if only the teacher's emotions are to be checked. I think Ima explained it so well that it's not only about the teachers, but the students as well. And your contribution is also noted. All right. What happens if a learner with some bad behavior is called, advised, severally involving many teachers and parents, but the problem persists? Probably there's a biological underpinning for that behavior. You need to find out. You need to refer them to a professional counselor to help. Behaviors can be influenced by biological reasons. And that one, if you just talk and talk and talk, it may not work. We need to do mental health check, laboratory check, biological checks to find out. But when some part of the brain is damaged, it can affect their behavior. And no matter what you do, if that part is not biologically restored, that problem may go on. How can we effectively manage a large class size by utilizing emotional intelligence? I think we have answered that already. You are, is it feeling? You are feeling overwhelmed by school load or class load. How do you cope without affecting your teaching? I think I've also explained that managing large class with group work and station rotation and all that. Is there a relationship between a teacher's salary and emotional intelligence? This is a very good question. It also depends on the teacher's own personality, perspective of life, and mental health state. If the teacher doesn't learn contentment in life, your salary will always be a problem for you, because you enter the classroom looking down on yourself, thinking that what you are doing is not worth what you are being paid for. So you enter the classroom with already emotional flooding. So it will surely affect you. But if you believe in yourself and you are content with what you have and then strive to do things to make it better, it will help you. We will do a webinar on teachers' salary and preparing for retirement and looking out for other career opportunities. And I think when we do that, we will dive much into it. I'm a great teacher. What should I do if the kids are not responding? I think we've answered that. Oh my, the questions are so many. I'll do my best. How do you handle a learner who by one way or the other triggers you as a teacher? At times, even his own friends. Yeah, so that's why we are teaching you to manage it. Don't suppress it, manage it. And then when you go home, do a reflection. Every person, a life that is not reflected is not worth living. What is causing the student to trigger you? You must find out. And once you're able to find out why the student is triggering you, then you can find solutions. If you don't ask why, I've said it already, if you don't ask why, you may be thinking for people and you may have wrong emotions and you disturb yourself. So we need to do that. Find out why. You are on point, madam. Some students, okay, that's fine. It's a comment. How do I manage a learner who frequently hides his homework and class exercise book? Ask why. Find out why. Okay. What is being done to practically include the emotional intelligence into teachers training? Well, that's why to see has taken it up. If we find ourselves in any of these meetings, we suggest it. We can also write a newsletter and publish in the dailies, and they will take it up. So we are doing all that. We also want to organize a research on teachers' emotional intelligence. When we put it there, kindly answer so that we can get responses and use it to push policy for your training. You need it. All right. Please, I can't hear anything. Oh, sorry. The learner in my class, learner doesn't relate to her classmates, doesn't play. I think we've given response to some of these things. Okay, in my class, I have ever 50 learners. I have over 15 learners. I have to always give mark exercises as demanded of me. But the break times of 30 minutes is not always enough to mark it all before break over. This means that I had to always put the reminder aside and teach the next lesson and will still mark. Okay, teacher, if you are like that, what I'll suggest is that visit your method of teaching. You see, you can, when students come from break, you can give them group work and then you mark. Occasionally, you go around and supervise their work. Knowing your methodology is a key to prove who you are as a teacher. It's not always that you should stand in front of them and teach. Ima said it. You need to engage them. The children, they have so much energy. They want to do something. Be creative. Teaching is an art. Be creative. You see, when you apply good methodology, you, the teacher, you don't even suffer. You realize that teaching is interesting. Some of us, we are Methuselah in teaching. Those who know to see by me, by my name, I've been at a training college. I was there 18 years before I moved to Legon. I'm still teaching, training teachers. Your methodology, general pedagogy, it is very important. So vary your methodology and you have time. 50 students, you are cool to go. Some are handling 70. We appreciate what you are doing, but vary your methodology. An emotional intelligent teacher, how would you recognize children with neurological challenges? We have standard behavior. All things being equal, children put up, or everybody have a standard behavior that is approved or approved behavior. Whenever you observe an abnormality in a student behavior, as a teacher, you have to refer. That's why we are giving this training and other training to help you. You, the teacher, you are not a counselor. You need basic skills so that you'll be able to refer. I always say that once you are a teacher, you can be a licensed counselor. You can take a course with that, 6-month course, and we will license you and you become a licensed teacher. So even when you retire as a teacher, you can have a second career as a counselor. Counselors don't retire. So if you have these basic skills, it also complements your teaching and it makes you to be more emotionally intelligent and content and happy with what you are doing. All right. Okay, thank God. This is the last question. How do I manage a colleague who takes too much in the staff, and who talks too much in the staff room and refuses corrections, even when she is wrong? She may, please, I'm using the word may. She may be having some mental health challenges. Too much of everything signals abnormality. Too much of everything gives signal of abnormality. When people talk more than what they are supposed to talk or expected to, then there may be a problem. So please don't be too hard on the person. Find out why I have said. If there's a school counselor or district counselor, report to the head so that they pay particular attention to the person. If someone has marital issues, which we also will give you a webinar on that, handling your family and marital issues as a teacher so that your mental health will be stable. It's part of the things we'll be doing for Godwin next year. Godwin next year from January, we'll be doing monthly webinar for you. And all these things, we are going to look at them. We keep on saying learners, but now we want to focus on teachers. What is there for you to make you be a better person? So if a teacher has emotional issues at home, if the home is not well, they will have issues. They will come and talk more than necessary. Okay, so thank you so much. How can we do a behavioral test? Please, we have instruments for that. To see, we run mental health screening. We do. So if you put yourself together as teachers, we even have we have some we do online, but you need to pay because after that a counselor would have to attend to you. We can explore that later. Thank you, Wizzy. I'm done.
All right. Thank you, Doc, for the marathon, going through all the questions. We are grateful. And thank you so much, Mr. Emmanuel Afeti, for the amazing presentation. The feedback I have seen is really great. We can't cover everything in just one session. And as Iman mentioned earlier, becoming an emotionally intelligent teacher is not a one-off, thing. You don't just one day participate in a CPD and then suddenly you are an emotionally intelligent teacher. And so we would come up with some subsequent sessions that will address some of the issues you have raised. And I'm sure that it will be helpful. We have more than 1,000 people on our WhatsApp pages, but the number that joined I don't know if it was your network. At a point, because of that, we decided to stream on our YouTube page as well. And I see some were able to join that live stream on YouTube. So we'll look at that going forward. Thank you all so much. The slides and the audio recording will be sent to the WhatsApp pages. If you are not on it, please join. You can check the Zoom chat. The link has been put there, so you can join. And on the screen is our certificate in counseling program. Admission for 2026 is ongoing. If you want to become a licensed counselor, counseling is a lifetime profession. You don't retire from it. So if you want to become a licensed counselor, please contact us and we would get you through the process of registering for our course, and then you take it from there. Let's continue the conversations on the WhatsApp page. If you had any question that was not answered, put it on the WhatsApp page, and then we'll see how we can make arrangements to address them. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We will also share our socials on the page. Follow us on Facebook, YouTube, everywhere. Follow us and get our content. It's 9:13. We've gone beyond our time by 13 minutes. I think we'll end it here. Ima, any final words before we go?
So I will just encourage all of us as facilitators, as teachers, to always continue to make this conscious effort to make our classroom an emotionally stable classroom. We should respond to our learners instead of reacting. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Doc, any final word before we go?
Yes, please. Thank you so much, Ima. It's so wonderful. You've done so well, and on behalf of management of TUSI and staff and all participants, we say thank you so much. We want to hear you more again and again. Please, for those of you who are saying that you are not on the WhatsApp platform, I've shared the link to the WhatsApp platform on the chat. And then those who paid for the certificate, in the next hour, you receive your certificate in your emails. Now that we are done, those who want to order for the certificate, you can also do that. We have the link in the chat there. So if you scroll, you can see it and then you order so we can send you your certificate. It's reposted again. And then on the platform, you can still order and then we give it to you. Yeah, you are waiting to enroll on a degree or diploma. That's fine. We'll get there one day. Thank you so much. God bless you. Please, I'm done.
All right, okay, bye-bye. Please enjoy your night and stay blessed. We'll share the recording hopefully tomorrow. The recording and the slides should be sent tomorrow.